Hi, I'm Doggone. Welcome back to the Utopia Baseball League. As you can see, today is Friday, October the 5th, 2018. I just got back from vacation, and when I left, my game was on August the 20th, 2018. The final few weeks of the regular season, playoffs hadn't started, and I'm telling you what, that was a problem. That was a booger, because playoffs start, you got to be at the command center, and appreciate OU's help. We beat Richmond in the Lamb Championship, swept Richmond in 3 games, and took the first 2 from Madison, but then Madison came back and won 4 straight, and congrats to Madison on being East League pennant winners, and UBL champs. So keeping that championship, championship in the East. Okay, just a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Let's see, Louisville. This happens occasionally. Louisville was sold to Albert Kane, a new owner. Presumably, he has different characteristics than the old boss, meet the new boss. Maybe not the same as the old boss. Madison took home the World Series crown, the UBL Series crown. Beat the Walleye 4-2 in the championship. This was the first year of our expanded schedule, our 140-game schedule. We have been running on a 120-game schedule. So everybody, there were records galore this year. Surprisingly, Al Walker did not win the home run title this year. He is, after all, mortal, I guess. And Jim Patton won instead. But still, surprisingly, despite 20 extra games, that 41 home runs is not even in the top 3 for home runs in a single season. So we had several guys who flirted with 20 wins. John Anderson and Augusto Genero each were at 18. Roman Ramos was at 17. Doubtless, Anderson and Genero were rested a few times, as was Ramos. I actually, in start of August, I actually pulled my entire, when the rosters expanded, I filled my rotation and my bullpen and my lineups with scrubs to avoid, to help me manage injury and fatigue running into the stretch run. I did, because right before I left on vacation, I did reinsert my starting rotation and lineups. And anyway, just a note to you new guys, when you get into the playoffs, you really need to be around your console to, do the things that you need to do, little tweaks to that can make the difference in success. So, congrats on Winnipeg beating BC. In a very close pennant race. Al Walker did everything he could to keep BC in the division front seat, but Winnipeg had the key to solving the Al Walker problem, and Winnipeg beat BC in a 1-game playoff to take the Northwest Division title, and then faced after BC took care of Tijuana in the Lamb Championship. Winnipeg faced BC again in the West League Championship Series and beat them. So congrats to Winnipeg on that. In the East League, yes, as I said, Key West beat the wild card sacrificial lamb Richmond Rad Roaders 3-0. And then Key West against Madison in the ELCS. Key West took the first 2. Then Madison stormed back and won the last 4. What else? Roman Ramos had an incredible year this year. 1.70 ERA and 17 wins with a less than 1.00 whip. The guy was incredible this year. Francisco Guerrero had a good year too. So anyway, Key West had great pitching from start to finish, from wire to wire this year. Key West pitching was fantastic, both in the rotation and the bullpen. Despite some injuries in the rotation and in the bullpen, we always had enough guys coming up to fill those problems. Key West started off hitting great this year, and it was led by James Dalton. Dalton won the East League batting title in an outcome nobody really foresaw when we traded for him in the preseason. Dalton he was a monster for us. But most of our bats started off incredibly strong and then tapered off as the season progressed. By August, our bats had gone fairly average to cold, and when the playoffs hit, we just kept getting colder. Of course, the great good pitching didn't help our cause either. This is something I'm really unused to seeing. Over here, runs scored, Key West on the top. We have not been a run-scoring machine in the past. Batting average, we were number 3. Home runs, number 3. We have hit taters in the past, but we've never been near the top in runs scored or batting average. And this year we were able to put it on cruise control after the July 31st trading deadline because things were pretty well wrapped up. We had an enormous 22 game or something lead over our second place team. We did finish with an 18-game lead over Charleston, who had a pretty strong August. Let's see. I guess recapping the East-Southeast, I thought we would have a good team this year. I did not foresee a 650 winning rate. I hoped and expected a above average team, above 500, and I thought we'd be good. I didn't realize we'd be this good, but all of our bats really worked together, especially early in the year, and we just had a really strong team. Charleston surged past Louisville to finish with a above 500 average. Charleston made a lot of moves this year to bring in, and I've talked about them in the past, to bring in more, to strengthen the lineup. That's what I'm trying to say. Gosh, a week in Tennessee and in Gatlinburg, and driving back and forth through Arkansas, and I finally get back to Oklahoma City, or I finally get back into Oklahoma. About 30 minutes in Oklahoma from the Arkansas state line, I start sneezing. And I've been congested ever since I got back in Oklahoma. I don't know what it is. Some people say it's because Texas blows and Kansas sucks, but I don't know. So please forgive sinus and congestion issues. Nashville faded badly and faded even to a game behind Louisville, which really surprised me. Nashville started off the year red hot. In fact, the stats, they led the East-Southeast early on. And in April, I think the first 2 weeks they led, maybe the first 3 weeks, and then they had a 7-game losing stretch at the same time we were on a 9-game winning stretch. And they just continued to sort of fall into the tank. And they eventually finished at the bottom. It'd be good for them in draft time because they'll get a high first-round pick. Nashville, Louisville. I actually had a good, strong July, 17-12. And that surprised me. I'm looking forward to seeing what Louisville brings next year. Louisville packed it in early this year and started trading their established stars for some new talent and draft picks. So look out for Louisville in a few years down the road. Charleston also had a strong August, finished 6 games over 500 in August and a 3-0 September. Charleston had a good end of season. They were good in April, pretty good in June. So Charleston kind of hung around all year. They weren't really, real competitive with the division lead, but they hung around. Key West just had a monster year. 20-6 April. August 13-15. It was our only sub 500 month, and I think we lost a total of 2 series from April through July, and then in August we began playing mediocre baseball. Right about the time we didn't want to. Madison, by contrast, excuse me, was playing great baseball in August, and in July and August, they played well throughout the year. They had the Railroaders dogging them the whole way, and held them off. The Railroaders had a tough beginning in April, and their June was mediocre, but they played extremely well in July and down the stretch. So it's very interesting. Been looking forward to Richmond coming into giving Madison a good run for the money. All right, well, let's go back to where was I? Did I start on Nashville? By the way, Key West. I'm still in search of a good logo. So if Orlando or anybody wants to come up with a logo for us, I'm all ears. The original little parrot bird we had was the best parrot head logo I could find out there in the OOTP logo packs, but I'm looking for another one. I've actually been working on paint.net this morning on one. I'm not real happy with it, so I don't know. But I'm looking for one if any of you are graphics wizards. All right. Anything else I want to talk about? We made a lot of changes to our rotation this year, but basically in the 3 through 5 spots, we had no shortage of arms for those spots. We got a lot of guys. I think I counted. We got 9 guys who could go in our rotation if I needed them, and it wouldn't hurt us much. 9 pretty good arms. Richard Woods, rookie, did well for us this year. 3.03 ERA in his inaugural season. Jack Johnson had a pretty good year. That was John Johnson. Sorry, Jack Johnson had a pretty good year. Jose Cantu came over and pitched well for us. He occasionally goes through a meltdown, but he did well. I think the final game of the East League Championship Series, Madison got all over Cantu. But Cantu pitched well for us. Carlos Gonzalez pitched great for us. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does next year. I think who's hot? Carlos Gonzalez, 8 games, 5-1, 1.08 ERA. He never got a chance to face Madison in ELCS, and that's one of the issues about being away from the game, traveling during playoffs, is you want that fine control, and I would have liked to have set my rotation to make sure we run a strict rotation order, so Carlos Gonzalez got a chance at Madison. Anyway, we got Chris Roy on the DL. He'll be back. Mario Nunez will be back. Both of those guys will probably be in and out of the rotation next year as we work on fine tuning and getting our rotation going. Ramos, gosh, just had an unconscious year. Guerrero, he pitched really well all year. 2.86 ERA and a less than 1.00 whip. But he didn't get the run support that Ramos got. Just one of those things. All 3 of our teams finished back in the standings. Little Rock and Fremont finished second in their divisions. Durham faded to 3rd place. They were pretty strong early, but faded badly as I kept moving minor leaguers through the system. Our lineups pretty well set. Russ McLean was a big disappointment for us this year. The duck hunter didn't do any duck hunting for us. Mark Combs started off well. Actually, he started off terribly, got better, and then faded again. Armstrong played well for us all year, except in the September. In his last 7 games, he was 1 for 23. So Armstrong was pretty bad. John Hickey got a call up early in the year, and he did great for us at second base. so great that I could not send him down. I've got 2 other guys who are vying for that second base position, actually 3 or 4, and Hickey just he wouldn't let me give anybody else an audition because he seized the day. Ronnie Duncan has had some injury problems, but when he got back, he was fine. Rick Roll Hamilton had a great year, an all-star year. His batting was just phenomenal from start to finish. And Sir James Dalton, of course, had a great year. Skipped over Juan Lopez. He's in his final. 2018 was his final contract year, and so old Lopez. I thought this might be his farewell song, but we had a nice surprise waiting for me when I got back. And let me pause this briefly, and we'll go take a look at it. Okay, let's take a look. Let's go look at something. This is info that is, I guess you could call it proprietary, but what the heck, you know. So we had a really nice surprise waiting for us this year. Our market size increased from below average to average. That caused our media to go way up. Our media revenue went up by $8 million year over year, and that's local media. The national media is, same for everybody now, but local media rose by $8 million, and at Pedro gave us a nice bump. So our total budget went up by $18 million year over year. Last year it was $108 million. It was tied for the bottom of the UBL, and now it's up to $126 million, which is 10th in the league, 10th out of 16. We're pretty much mid-pack now. That's awesome. Great year. With our $30 ticket price, which I increased season before last in 2017, it caused some attendance problems, but we left it at 30 over the last winter, and the fans came back. Our fan interest is at 90. It's great. Our loyalty is good. This team's in good shape. The balance sheet's in real good shape. We got a little bit of bump from revenue sharing. At Pedro took $22 million cash. We ended the year with $42 million in cash, and we can only carry over $20 million. So that's pretty nice, There's a few little things I would have done if I'd been here at the console at the end of the year. I would have bought out some. I would have used that $42 million the last day of the season to buy out some pretty much busted contracts, dead contracts, and release some guys to free agency. But it's not so critical now because of our nice $18 million budget bump. What else? We're projected to have a $47 million profit this year, which is a great profit. As you can see, we've got $25 million for free agents, $34 for extensions. Projected budget room, $6 million. This is the key. When newbies, when you are negotiating contracts with folks, if you're trying to trade for somebody who has if you have a $6 million projected budget room here, and somebody that you're trying to trade for has a $10 million salary next year, you won't be able to make the trade unless you can shed $4 million of next year's salary. This right here, this line is the key to OTP finances, the projected budget room. This is the line you want to manage extremely well and closely. It's your current budget divided by your expenses, subtracting your expenses to date and your expected remaining expenses. Projected budget room is the key. Whenever you have a trade that won't work, this is the problem right here. So be very attuned to your projected budget room. Oops, sorry about that. Just got a text from the boss here. Okay. Alrighty. She's going to grab some groceries on the way home. So, finances got a great bump. And let me show you by contrast what the finances look like as of July of 2018. Let me pause it and pull that screen up. Oops. Oh, and I'm back, I think. Yeah, I think I'm back. Here is July 31st. Look at the Key West finances. You see our budget was $108 million, tied for 15th. It's tied for last in the UBL. And at the time I had projected budget room of $1.8 million. So I could not take on salary for next year of greater than $1.8 million, and had $1.5 million for extensions. You can understand that that would be a problem. You can see our market size in July was below average. What else? I guess that's about it. That's what I wanted to call your attention to, was the $108 million on July 31st, $108 million budget, the below average market size. Yeah, and this projected budget room. So let me flip back over to here, and now you see our projected budget room is up. It was higher, but I've made some offers out there and some extension offers, and that has eaten into projected budget, but I've still got a lot for free agents and extensions. Okay, and by the way, the finances are for most folks, newcomers and oldcomers alike, the projected budget room is, OOTP finances is, it takes some time to kind of get a handle on it. So you almost have to run through the, through the balance sheets yourself. You almost have to kind of figure them out yourself. It takes some time, or at least it took me time. Advanced info. Look at this. This is what I wanted to show you. Attendance this year was at capacity. All year we were at capacity. We started off just a little bit low, but pardon me, allergies. Good night. We started off a little bit low, but we had a nice little pennant race with Nashville early, and we bumped up in a hurry. Strangely, it seems like for us, man, and another pause while I clear my throat. For us, if we're leading the division, we're at capacity, which is weird. You'll think fans would get bored, but not at least not for our team in OTP. Attendance, we blew the doors off of our prior attendance marks, in part because of the 20 extra games, half of which were at home. So we had 10 extra home games. And 10 extra home games at 39,000. That's 390,000 extra tickets. So you can see we were well above 390,000, well above 400,000. And it's because our attendance was at capacity all year. We've never had a year like that. Our average attendance per game, 38,900. Total attendance, 5th in the UBL. Attendance is good for the whole league. If everybody has good attendance, the league media, how to say this, the more attendance we have, the more money goes into the media pile for the league as a whole to be divvied out. I think I said that right. The most effective players this year for us: Manuel Cruz on a minimum salary, Gonzo on a minimum salary, Carlos Gonzalez on a minimum salary, Tom Wilson, Roman Ramos was not on a minimum salary, but he was cheap at the time. Least cost effective: Lonnie Dowler, who didn't play for us, who stayed in AAA. Pedro Rivera stayed in AAA. Fernando Beltran was quickly sent to AAA. And Xpad came up and actually was strong for us in the late season. So I don't know. He was on a league minimum salary too after being signed to a minor league contract. So I don't know why he's listed as down here. He should have been up here. Most popular players: Green, Gomez, Armstrong, Canio, and McClain. That changes quickly, by the way, as you bring in new and remove old players. And DL, we've got $15 million on the DL right now, but only $480,000 in the minors because of all of our basically. I brought up all of our major league salaried players in AAA up to the active roster for the roster expansion. All right, I guess that's it, guys. I just wanted to run through some things very quickly, and let me think. Let me think here. I guess there's some talk about Al Walker. He led the UBL in batting average again. Mr. Triple. What's the word? Triple title. Oh man, my mind just went blank. Anyway, batting average, home runs, and RBIs. Yeah. He did not get it this year, and he is falling off. But how fast? Who knows? Look at his stretch run. He only went one hitless game at Tijuana, and the guy was insane. Look at all these home runs. 5 home runs in the final 10 games. He is Mr. Clutch. And I know there is a feeding frenzy for Al Walker. Folks want him in the offseason, so free agency is going to be very interesting this year. Extremely popular. Probably the most popular player in the UBL. Allergies. Oh, man. If you want allergies, move to Oklahoma. V-Mart led the league in strikeouts. Monk Edwards had a great year for Tijuana. Great year. One of the rookies I passed up to land Gonzo. Kick myself over that sometimes. What else? We had several guys flirting with 20 wins this year. John Anderson and Augusto Janeiro flirted with 20. I might have crippled Ramos's opportunity for 20 because I pulled him out of the rotation and the pen, and I gave him 2 weeks off, 2 weeks of paid vacation in August. And in fact, I was planning to give him 4 weeks of paid vacation, but I had to leave for my trip, and I figured I better go ahead and set my playoff lineups and rotation, my number one, my normal starting rotation pin and lineups before I left, just in case. And so he got 2 weeks off instead of 4 weeks off, but finished with 17 wins. Let's see, Scoops Horton. Scoops Horton cost Oklahoma quite a lot, but he did well. Had a good year. Graham, Monk Edwards, Skull Hoover, Juan Valentin, yeah. Very good. Very good. Always good to see new blood coming in. Monk Edwards here into the league leaders. Anything else to talk about here? Nope. Well, yep. I think that's it. And I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And if I think of something else, I'll just start another video. I'll talk to you later, guys.